So what comes to mind for you? What's an important element of modern HR?
It's natural in my role to think about learning and development as the most leverageable asset in the overall talent suite. And one of the reasons that learning and development is the most leverageable of all assets is that, for the most part, you can use learning and development as a thread from hire all the way through to retire, and even into your alumni network. For example, during the hiring process, there's an ability to take assessment, to educate people on readiness for a role, to participate in the performance review of a new hire, to get that new hire functionally ready for a new role, then into the compliance cycle within your organization, which could be ethics training and sort of standard stuff. But then into, once you've identified a gap in performance and closed that gap with learning and development, what do you do with a high performer? How do you train a high performer for the next step in their career path? Or correspondingly, how do you channel people into a leadership and development activity? Further, you can imagine taking a learning and development activity and start to educating the extended enterprise. How does a learning and development group engage with channels, partners, and potentially even customers? So when we think about learning and development within the HCM or human capital management cloud, we see learning and development as a thread or a through line in virtually all of the workflows. Now, how do you accelerate the outcomes associated with performance management and learning, or associate the outcomes with functional readiness for new employees? Well, the best way to accelerate is to use modern technologies like mobile and social learning to accelerate those outcomes. So when I think about your question, that's what comes to mind for me.
So it really touches on everything. And then you mentioned mobile and social. So you're saying that when people use learning technology on their phone or over social, that they actually get more engaged? Or what do you mean by that it accelerates?
It's a great question. So with our laptops, we're comfortable opening up our laptop, doing our work in email, and then when required, we go over and we do some training. But then when we close our laptops, which is where, or when we're away from our laptops or computers, where we spend a majority of our time, we're opening our phones and we're engaging on our devices with multiple times in short bursts, way more frequently than we are on our desktops or laptops, because it's easier. So when we think about providing more access to the information you need just in time, whether it be for a compliance purpose, meaning job readiness, or for discovery, what do I need to know about this customer? In all cases, the mobile environment allows for more touch points in a shorter period of time.
I see.
Which gives you the information you need, and of course creates a refresher for the learning and development you're trying to achieve. On the social side, we see that the old formal training model of, I need to take this course, and this course is going to last for 1 hour, as outdated. It is a piece of the puzzle, but at the end of the day, I engage with other learners who have taken that same piece of material to supplement my learning, to extend my learning. And so in this way, you can close out those open questions you might have in your mind more quickly through social learning capabilities. Does that make sense?
That definitely applies to me. I think I would use social to learn. I like to reach out to people and ask questions versus sitting alone, in a session.
It's a much more engaging place to be, for sure.